Caitlin Clark is officially ruled out for tonight with a groin injury.
Especially with Caitlin taping her leg, Caitlin playing the way.
Everybody, the medical team, everybody knows.
I'm going to tell you, fans are done with Stephanie White. The honeymoon period is over.
I don't believe nothing Stephanie White is saying. I'm very sad that Caitlin Clark is out.
In the NBA, the theory is that the refs try to protect the star.
Fans are upset that Caitlin Clark is officially out due to a groin injury. She hasn't missed a game since college, but something has obviously been off the last few games. Her mobility, intensity, and shot all suggested a problem.
Caitlin Clark is officially ruled out for tonight with a groin injury, and she will not play tonight versus the LA Sparks. And I have to tell you, this has ruined my entire day. It will probably ruin my entire weekend. She has the quad injury. Mind you, Caitlin Clark hadn't missed a game since she was like 19 years old, since she was like 18 in college or something.
And it has now been established that the suffering was evident, as is the indignation as inquiries grow. One name keeps coming up: Stephanie White.
It was also just her demeanor, her energy. It felt like something was wrong.
The left leg comes from under her, and you can see in her face, if y'all saw the picture in the thumbnail, you can see in her face that she was screaming.
I'm going to tell you, fans are done with Stephanie White. The honeymoon period is over.
Fans are pointing fingers that moment may have changed the season, with many speculating that Caitlin Clark's groin injury may have occurred when Stephanie White substituted her back, and during the final seconds of a game they were already winning. Against the Seattle Storm, with only 8 seconds remaining, Clark returned to the floor, and many believe the injury occurred because it didn't make sense to risk her at that time.
Did this happen? Because you have people out there saying this injury happened when Stephanie White decided to sub her back in the last 8 seconds of the game versus the Seattle Storm when we was winning.
People are wondering, why the hell was Caitlin Clark in this game, a game that was over? With 16 seconds left against the Storm, they won the game.
Basketball of the season.
But some people are saying that Caitlin Clark got injured.
Caitlin Clark was on the bench. A lot of us thought that she was done for the evening, but Coach Stephanie White put her back in, and as you can see with this play here, she gets a handoff from Aaliyah Boston, and then she fumbles the ball a little bit and she falls to the ground.
There is a video that shows Caitlin returning to the game with 16 seconds remaining, and many are wondering why she was there at all. The game had already ended, but she was still added, and she was injured shortly after. Fans are furiously criticizing Stephanie White for this one decision, saying it was needless and careless, and many think it was the tipping point that resulted in the groin injury.
Coach Stephanie White put her back in, and as you can see with this play here, she gets a handoff from Aaliyah Boston, and then she fumbles the ball a little bit and she falls to the ground.
At that last minute, it was 16 seconds on the clock on that inbound play, and the ball was thrown into Aaliyah Boston. Boom. And she did a step with the left leg, and boom, the left leg comes from under her.
When Caitlin was substituted back into the game at the end of the Seattle game, she received a handoff, stumbled, and fell to the ground. Her face exhibited pain, and she grabbed her leg as she hobbled away. Fans immediately reacted, questioning why she was even brought back into the game. Many people now blame Stephanie White's call as being careless, accusing her of failing to protect their star player.
Clip from that. So at the end of the Seattle Storm game, the Indiana Fever are up by 8 points, and Caitlin Clark was on the bench. A lot of us thought that she was done for the evening, but Coach Stephanie White put her back in, and as you can see with this play here, she gets a handoff from Aaliyah Boston, and then she fumbles the ball a little bit and she falls to the ground. Now in real time, a lot of us thought that she actually tripped over Erica Wheeler, but if you slow this down, it's a non-contact jump that kind of happens. As you can see, when she was getting up from that play, she has a look on her face like she is in a lot of pain. Erica Wheeler is helping her up here. She grabs her leg as well, but you can just see she says ow. She's kind of limping to the bench.
The crowd saw that Caitlin made a sudden, sharp movement, stepped hard with her left leg, and instantly collapsed. It was agonizing to watch her yell, grab her groin, and struggle to get up. This was obviously when something went wrong, and Stephanie Wise once again in the spotlight for making the call that put her in danger.
And she did a step with the left leg, and boom, the left leg comes from under her, and you can see in her face, if y'all saw the picture in the thumbnail, you can see in her face that she was screaming. She was like, ah, not necessarily screaming, but yelling, right? And boom, she falls over, get the ball, she's getting up, and as she gets up and Erica Wheeler is checking on her, she ended up grabbing her groin right here. All right, so yeah, of course, this is what started that groin injury.
The Commissioner's Cup was being hyped by the league, but Caitlin Clark's injury has sapped the excitement from it. Fans aren't even sure if she will play, and tickets aren't sold yet, which is uncommon when she's involved. This only goes to show how significant her absence is and why the moment she was heard under Stephanie White's supervision sparked outrage. Her status is uncertain and people want answers.
So lads, the Commissioner's Cup is in a couple of days, and it was probably going to be one of the most hyped games of the year, and there's a good chance that it's a lot less hyped, considering the fact that it's Tuesday, and I don't know, I don't foresee Caitlin Clark being back. And I honestly don't know if Nafisa Collier is going to come back. Nafisa Collier has been questionable for over a week at this stage. But if you guys didn't see, the WNBA, you still have time, because obviously there are still tickets left. There are still tickets left. And normally there are very few, if any, tickets left for any of the Caitlin Clark games. If we're being honest, it is normally had been really hard to get tickets for Caitlin Clark games. But it doesn't seem to be as hard this year. And first of all, doesn't seem to be as hard. Second of all, she's injured.
Fans don't believe Stephanie White when she claims that she only learned of Caitlin Clark's groin injury late yesterday night. They've seen her minimize injuries in the past, and now they think she's doing it again. Stephanie's remarks seem more like damage control than sincere care. Fans are calling her out for lying once more, and the timing and justification seem all too familiar.
Caitlin Clark, and it's been an awful thing. Caitlin Clark is officially ruled out for tonight with a groin injury, and she will not play tonight versus the LA Sparks. And I have to tell you, this has ruined my entire day. It will probably ruin my entire weekend.
The fans' honeymoon phase with Stephanie White is ended, and many think her choices, particularly keeping Caitlin in while injured, show that she is unfit for this position. She also failed to offer clear MRI results and an explanation of the injury chronology, and now her coaching is being criticized. The fan support has turned against her due to a general lack of protection and leadership, not just the injuries.
Caitlin Clark, your greatest asset, is going to get hurt. The face of your league is going to get hurt if you continue to allow all this physical play to happen. Let me correct. If you keep allowing this dirty play to happen, not physical play. The Marina Mayberry shit was dirty. The eye gouge, dirty. So, I'm going to tell you, fans are done with Stephanie White. The honeymoon period is over. It is over. Stephanie White had no answer on the MRI results. It felt like she was just guessing. I certainly hope one day is enough, but others are speculating weeks.
Fans are wondering how Stephanie White's claim that she was unaware of Caitlin's injury until the previous evening is even plausible. Fans are upset because they feel misled and want accountability, but White maintains she was unaware that Clark had her leg bandaged in several games, had symptoms of pain, and performed poorly.
And a lot of fans are wondering how Coach Stephanie White did not know about this until last night, especially if Caitlin had been taping her leg for previous games.
Caitlin was playing a lot of minutes despite having obvious injuries with her leg wrapped. Despite this, Stephanie White and the medical staff continued to push her, and her minutes increased from 28 to 34, and then over 30 once again despite her poor movement. Fans feel that Stephanie White's persistence is what caused a manageable ailment to worsen, not merely bad management or neglect.
That lets me know the staff, the coach, everybody, the medical team, everybody knows Caitlin's conditions right now. Now, seeing that she was hurt already, right? Seeing that she wasn't 100%, they went from 28 minutes in this game to 34 in the next, 34 in the one after that, and then she played 31 minutes or 30 minutes in that Seattle game. Now, amping up her minutes like that on an injured leg was a terrible decision.
Critics are stating referees and coaches in the NBA are aware that loud stars should be safeguarded, but in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark has been hit without any help, not even from her own coach, Stephanie White. She failed to set a boundary, allowed the contact to escalate and did nothing to stop it. Now that Clark is hurt, the blame is being placed on the person who ought to have protected her the most, her coach.
In the NBA, the theory is that the refs try to protect the stars. That's not the case in the WNBA.
Not
why
enough.
not?
Not just her, by the way. Not enough,
Right.
at least in my
Right.
opinion. Well, hopefully that changes. So I just think the officiating hasn't caught up with how good the athletes are in the league. That's, to me, the biggest.
The WNBA is under fire for allowing the physicality to spiral out of control, and Caitlin Clark might be the most prominent casualty. There is a pattern of hand-checking blindsides all the time, similar to Marina McBraw's hit, and no actual protection, even though Stephanie White did not publicly assault the referees in front of cameras. This injury has caused a stir over safety and refereeing. Given the popularity and money associated with Clark, many people think the WNBA was careless in failing to safeguard its most valuable commodity. The greater worrying at this point is how many more celebrities may suffer injuries before the league takes it seriously.
Did this happen? Because you have people out there saying this injury happened when Stephanie White decided to sub her back in the last 8 seconds of the game versus the Seattle Storm when we was winning. So I don't know. I just know one thing. The WNBA needs to clean up. I believe the physicality and all this hacking and fouling that goes on. She getting blindsided by Marina Mabry. I think all of this stuff is having a wear and tear and an impact.
The officials did little to halt the pushovers, eye pokes, and aggressive hand checks, which have been rampant throughout time. In one game, Ryan Howard practically held Caitlin Clark with two arms without a whistle. This isn't simply difficult play, it's unrestrained violence. Fans claim that if officials had performed their duties from the beginning, Clark wouldn't have been sidelined with a groin injury. However, the lack of discipline today allowed anything to happen, which is problematic for someone like Caitlin, who attracts defenders every night.
Now, of course, I think that pushover moment, that didn't help, right? The Marina Mabry moment, I can definitely say that didn't help her quad. And, you know, the eye poke situation, we saw how physical JC Sheldon was on her. And yeah, I think that started to take a toll on her, because after this game, where she did pretty good in this game, but after this game, the shooting slump starts, right? She shot awful in this game, this one, and this one. That's 3 games back to back to back where she shot awfully. Right after this game, that was extremely physical on her. But yeah, this game right here just did not help, man.
The WNBA's Caitlin Clark is being shoved, hit, and fouled with little to no response, while the NBA's star players are protected by Jordan rules and referees are trained to prevent excessive contact. Fans already believe that the referees are behind the game, allowing it to devolve into chaos. And now the cost is real. Clark is hurt, fans are incensed, and the league's reputation is suffering. Fans' frustration is reflected in Stephanie White's frustration on the floor.
All these things with, you know, if the players are jealous or players are mad, players say, oh, we were here before her. Is that helping or hurting the league?
Well, it's probably both. I think the officiating in that league is not good, and they really got to improve it. And I think she's been a part of some games where they lost control of the game, and it got.
So wait, I got to interrupt you there. So like in the NBA, the theory is that the refs try to protect the stars. That's not the case in the WNBA.
Not
why
enough.
not?
Not just her, by the way. not enough,
Right.
at least in my
Right.
opinion. Well, hopefully that changes. So I just think the officiating hasn't caught up with how good the athletes are in the league.
When it comes to protecting wounded stars, the WNBA has been utilizing them to promote games while doing little to safeguard them. The absence of Caitlin Clark is a catastrophe, not just a plot point. There is a growing belief that the referees lost control of the games Caitlin played in and that Stephanie White, despite being the coach, never pushed hard enough to get them to rein them in. Now that it's too late, the league may lose its best player because no one took action in time. Neutral fans are skipping games because they know she won't play, and it's directly related to the officiating and how physical the league has become.
Like, they are promoting the game with two players that have a 50-50 chance of playing, because let's be real with Nafisa Collier. Like, this could be Alyssa Thomas's MVP. Like, we say it's fees, but like injuries kind of halt everything. This could be Alyssa Thomas's MVP. Because let's be honest, like, the Aces aren't good enough for Asia to go and win back-to-back. Stewie, no, not really. Jonquel's been out for a while. Sabrina, man, if you guys don't know, like, don't let Caitlin Clark's 3-point percentage let you forget that her big on 1 for 23. Let you forget that, like, Kelsey Plum is something like 3 for 24 in her last couple of games. Sabrina's like 1 for 17. Paige is like 2 for 17. Like, let's not let Caitlin Clark's
Fans are devastated and want real answers now that Caitlin Clark is officially out. Her recuperation must be gradual and wise, because hurrying her back without protection could end her season or worse. If the league does nothing, Caitlin's injury will haunt the WNBA for the rest of the year, and players like her deserve protection. The WNBA cannot afford to wait any longer or allow neutral fans to leave. The league promoted Clark and now needs to defend her. Stephanie White is being criticized, and the pressure won't let up until justice is done.